Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Dave's Top 3000 Songs of the Rock Era. I'm your host, David Tier. And today I'm up to song number 2321, and that one is Small Town by John Cougar Mellencamp. This came out in 1985. Here's a picture of the single. And it was also released on his 1985 album called Scarecrow. And here's a picture of John Cougar Mellencamp around the time he recorded it. Get into him later. First, I'm going to feature a sample of the song and react to it. So here it goes.
Well, I was born in a small town, and I live in a small town. I've been down in a small town, oh, small communities. All my friends live in a small town. My parents live in the same small town. My job is a small town, provides little opportunity.
Okay, that's the first verse of Small Town by John Cougar Mellencamp. I think it's a good, catchy song and very clear what the song's about. He's proud that he's from a small town. He was born in Seymour, Indiana, which is a very small town in Indiana. For some reason or other, I always thought he was born in Bloomington. I think he grew up in Bloomington, but he was actually born in a smaller town. Bloomington's pretty small itself, but Seymour's even smaller, apparently. And, you know, what do I have to say about this song other than what I've already said about it? Not a whole lot. Let me just go back to the single. When this sort of first song first came out, I wasn't that crazy about it. I was not a huge fan of John Cougar or John Cougar Mellencamp at the time. I thought he was just kind of a hick, which is kind of what he sounded like and what a lot of his music sounded like. But I guess I've grown to appreciate him a lot more over the years. I mean, for one thing, he's very liberal politically, so I really do salute him for that. And he seems to be really in touch, and I think he has been his whole life with the issues of, the heartland, and a lot of people have been struggling there for a really long time, and I think he's always been kind of hip to that. But like I said, I didn't think much of him in the 80s or 90s. As a matter of fact, I remember I was playing a trivia game on America Online. This must have been around, I don't know, sometime in the late 90s. And I used to play a lot of rock and roll trivia. And somebody asked a question according to, one of John Cougar Mellencamp's songs, where is he going to die? Where does he think he's going to die? And the answer was a small town. Yeah, and a few people got it wrong. They answered Pink House because he had another song called Pink Houses. And I came up with kind of a funny joke. I said, John Cougar Mellencamp will die in a pink house in a small town when the walls come crumbling down. And people thought that was hilarious. One guy even added, yeah, it's going to hurt so good. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess a lot of people had the same kind of, reaction to him as I did. And, I always thought that this song, Small Town, at least when it first came out, I thought it was kind of pretentious because he's talking about how proud he is of being from a small town. And, even the last verse, he says, I got nothing against the big town. He'll still heat the scene enough to say, "Look who's from the big town." I mean, come on, that sounds like he does kind of hate the big town. And then he says, I was born in a small town and I can breathe in a small town, like it's too hard to breathe in the big cities because of all the pollution or something. So I don't know, but it's not a bad song, and I've been to every state, by the way. I've been to all 50 states, including Indiana, and I don't know if I've been to Bloomington, but but I remember the movie Breaking Away, which was a really excellent movie, by the way, in case you guys haven't seen it. It's about these guys who grow up, I guess, right around Bloomington, which is where the University in Indiana is, and one with the main guy is a bike champion, and I guess he shows off to the college kids in Bloomington, the University of Indiana, by winning a bike race there. Pretty moving story, I think, and kind of a story about that kind of small town life in that part of the country. So, anyway, I guess that's pretty much everything I have to say about the song "Small Town." So thank you for watching. You guys rock, and I'll see you next time. Bye.